Hello YouTube, my name is Pokemon, and today we're going to talk about the 4 best mental health tips for streamers that I found to personally work for me and hopefully will work for you. I don't know about y'all, but I've had struggles mentally with streaming consistently, and I've noticed on my Twitter feeds and Discord feeds and communities that other streamers are having these issues as well, and it's becoming a pretty commonplace and almost a plague in the streaming community. So I thought I would discuss how I focused and tried to overcome this issue myself and what worked best for me. Just because these tips worked personally for me does not mean they're gonna work personally for you. Everybody is different, and that's completely acceptable, and it's reality. So I really do hope these help you if you're here because you're having mental health issues. So tip number 1, and the tip that I think is the most important out of the 4 tips that I've chosen for today, is to separate streaming from your other components of life. You need to make streaming its own entity. It gets overwhelming if you're trying to answer DMs and constantly checking social media and trying to be in other streams at all times while you're also managing work. Maybe you have kids that you have to take care of, or family members that are sick, or you're trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle. You need to focus on each one of those as its own entity. You gotta treat streaming the same way. It has to be its own entity. And the number 1 best solution that I found for approaching this is to completely get rid of social media on my mobile device. What that allows me to do is focus solely on what I'm doing in person. So whether that's one of my 2 jobs that I currently work, my independent research, investments, stuff like that, I am not thinking about streaming until I get in my office, I sit down, and I take the time to talk with my community and update them and check out some of my friends' streams, because it just gets too overwhelming if you try to combine everything into one big life conglomerate. Tip number 2 is to try to invest just as much into yourself or more than you do with others, specifically other streamers. This perspective can be controversial, and I really do get that, because a lot of people have this stigma that you need to support other streamers to grow as well, and I've heard it called the small streamers cycle, which I personally experienced back when I was first starting. You know, everyone would sub to each other, rate each other, but times are kind of changing, and I noticed with everything going on in my life, that was overwhelming and overbearing, and I was getting so much anxiety if I missed one of my streamer friends' streams that night. It just wasn't good for my mental health. So I decided to focus more on my content, my streams, and it was also an experiment and a learning process, because I got to see who was really supporting me for who I was and who was just supporting me for raids and possible hosts or even financial gain from me. So this is a really good tip that I think you should take the time to experiment with and consider. Tip number 3 is to don't give into the more views cycle. I personally just got out of this. I have been a Pokemon Nuzlocker for over 2 years now, and I noticed if I wasn't streaming a Pokemon Nuzlocke challenge or anything Pokemon related in general, my viewership tanked to the point where I'm probably go from like 15 concurrent views to 5. And for over a year now, I felt drained. I felt burnt out on Pokemon, and my last video states it. I stated it's time for me to change. I can't keep maining Pokemon gaming content anymore. I'm not going to completely get rid of it. I just want to start incorporating new types of games and content and really listen to myself. Like, yeah, my viewership's down, but a lot of my core community came along and still supports me, so I think it's truly worth it. And it feels like I've lifted like 80 pounds off my shoulders. I feel so free and just able to do what I want. The last tip is my personal favorite, and that's tip number 4, invest in your physical environment. This is the most fun of the 4 tips. Focus on organization. So it relieves a lot of stress knowing where everything is, whether it's stuff on your desk or file management. It just makes things easier, and you're not stressing like, oh no, I can't find this file, I can't find this layout for my streaming content. Oh crap, I can't find my one streaming gear, like how am I gonna stream today? No, like you know where everything is, you're calm, you're collected, you're ready to go. And also, buying actual physical items that can improve your health. And the number one personal favorite item I will suggest, or actually it's a living thing, is plants. Plants are great and they have a lot of benefits. They are super fun to manage and raise and have a bunch of health benefits such as cleaning the air in your room, improving focus, increases relaxation, and just adds a nice visual to your setup. I can't tell you how many comments I've received while streaming about my plants. Just go buy all the plants, just buy them all. Completely demolish the supply and just take over the plant world. All right, guys, that's all 4 tips that I have for improving your mental health, or at least that worked for me as a streamer. And I hope you found any of these useful or helpful, and that you would be willing to try them yourself, hopefully, because mental health is very important. And it's super imperative to take care of yourself. So the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So if you feel like you're struggling, it's time to maybe think about spicing things up, throwing some changes, seeing if you can add or implement anything in your life that you may feel like will help improve your mental status. And hopefully one of these tips spoke to you in some way that maybe you'll consider implementing that into your life. So thank you guys for watching. Real quick, if you want to check out my Twitch for my streams, it's over at twitch.tv/Pokemod. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day, and peace out, Mod Squad.